Hello and welcome coders to the Sky Coding. So this is basically the chapter 2 of Python series, and in this video we will see installation of Python, that how can we install the Python in our Windows or Mac operating systems. Okay, we will discuss all about the installation in this video, and we will see that how can we use the Python in VS Code, and we will see some of the extensions which is required for the Python while working in the VS Code. Okay, and in the previous session we have seen all of the introduction of the Python, and we have seen what are the applications features of the Python, and what is the history of the Python, and what is compiler and interpreter, and Python is compiler as well, compiled as well as interpreted both language. Okay, we call Python as a compiled and interpreted language. Okay, so that's all about the previous session we have discussed in the introduction of the Python. Okay, so now we will do the installation of the Python in this session. Okay, so for installation we have basically two links. The first one link is for installing the Python, and the second link is for installing the VS Code. Okay, so we will just see that how can we do installation of these things. Okay, so let me move to the web browser, then we will see. Okay, so and I have opened my web browser. Now you have to search here Python download. Okay, I'm just using Windows version, so I will just download the Windows. If you are using the Mac OS or any other operating system, then you can download the Python according to your machine configuration. Okay, and here you will see first website, that is python.org. okay, so you have to just simply click here. This is basically the official website of the Python, and here you will see in the interface home page only it is written download the latest version. So the latest version of Python which is going on nowadays is Python 3.11.1. it is the latest version which was released in December 2022. okay, and you have to just simply click here on the download 3.11. okay, so it will just download the Python in your system. okay, so after that you have to just simply install. okay, so you have to just simply click save and it will just download. okay, so I am not going to download it again because I have already downloaded it, so I will just cancel it. okay, it is just for 25 MB. okay, you have to just download this, and if you want to use some older versions then you can just download from here. okay, you can see the latest version is 3.11.1. it is of December 6 2022. okay, and these are some of the older versions. you can see 2018 3.4.8. okay, and the previous versions are 2.6.2. okay, if you want to use the previous version then you can use and you can download from here. okay, so the latest version I have downloaded Python 3.11. okay, so my Python is now successfully downloaded. okay, so what we will do, we will just install this Python. okay, so for installing you have to just simply click on this installer which you have downloaded. okay, or you can just simply click right click, and after that you can just simply run as admin. okay, so after that you can see here we have options for install now and custom installation. okay, so we will just use this install now. okay, so we will just simply click on the install now, and after that it may ask for the admin password. okay, so you have to just give your admin login and password. okay, after that it will just install the Python. okay, if it is asking for the admin then you can give the admin, if it's not so you can just leave as it is. okay, so you can see setup is in progress and Python 3.1 is now being installed in my system. okay, so you have to just wait for a few minutes. it will just take 2-3 minutes for installing the Python in your system, and after that it will be installed. okay, so meanwhile what you have to do, meanwhile you can just simply download the VS Code as well. okay, so we will just use the VS Code for working with the Python. okay, or you can use the Python cell only. There is a one Python, whenever I am just installing this Python and interpreter, then our Python is already giving one IDE for writing the Python code. okay, you can use that Python IDE or you can use the VS Code. okay, so we will just see these two both things, that how can we use the Python IDE which is by default provided by the Python, and we will also see that how can we write the code and set up the interpreter in the VS Code. okay, so we will see both things. okay, so now we will just download that till it's being installing Python. Now we will just download the VS Code. okay, so for downloading the VS Code we have to simply type here VS Code download, and you can just download the VS Code. I am already having VS Code because I am working on the VS Code from lots of time. So you have to just simply click on the first link and you can just simply download the VS Code for Mac, Windows or Linux. okay, you can see here lots of versions are available. if you are a Mac user you can just download from here, and if you are a Windows user you can just simply click on the Windows and it will start the downloading. okay, you can see thanks for downloading VS Code for Windows. okay, so and you have to just simply click on the save and it will just download the installer for VS Code. okay, you can see. okay, so we will not download this because I have already downloaded the VS Code. okay, so by this you can just download the VS Code. okay, So now let's see that how much installation is done. Okay, so it is just installing, okay, Python. Okay, so now after installing we will see. Okay, so just wait for some time. Okay, and now meanwhile let me open. Okay, and the installing process for the VS Code is just very simple. You have to just simply double click on the VS Code installer. As you have clicked on this Python installer, then you have to just simply double click on the VS Code installer, and it will just ask you next, next, next. Okay, so you have to just simply click on the next, 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 and it will just install the VS Code in your system. Okay, so now let me open my VS Code. Okay, VS Code installation is very simple. You all can do VS Code installation. Okay, and if you face any type of issue while installing the VS Code, so you can just ask me in the comment section. Okay, so that's not an issue. Installing the software is a very simple, and we are just going to learn the Python. Then you must be knowing that how to install the software, because after some time you will be going to develop your own softwares. Okay, so you must be knowing how to download the software and how to install in our system and how to do the configurations of all these things. Okay, so you can see I have just opened my VS Code, and after opening my VS Code, actually I am working on my VS Code, so that's why it is showing like that. Okay, whenever you will open VS Code first time, then it will show here one button for the get started. You can just simply close all those things, and after that you have to just simply click here on the extensions. Okay, this is extensions, and this is run and debug, and this is source control, and this is search option. Okay, and this is some testing, and this is black box which I have downloaded. Guys, you can also use the black box and the chat GPT. These are the best open AI tools, okay, which basically help you, okay, while doing the coding. If you face any type of error, then you can ask. Okay, so after that you have to simply click on the extensions. And what are the extensions for working with the Python you have to install in your system? So you have to just simply install this Python. Okay, so you can just simply search here on the extensions part. You can just simply click on here, and you can just simply write Python. Okay, so I have written the Python, so just wait for some time, and it's now being searching, so just wait for some time. Okay, and after that you will see first option here, Python. It is from the Microsoft. Okay, IntelliSense PyLens. Okay, so you have to just simply install. Okay, as I have already installed this, so that's why it is showing uninstall. Okay, and in your system it will just ask you for installing. Okay, as you can see here it is written uninstall, and it will ask you for the installing. Okay, so you can just simply install the Python from there. Okay, as here in mine it is showing uninstall. Okay, so you can just download this extension in your VS Code. Okay, so you can see it is now being installed, as I have already installed, so that's why it is showing. You can see, let me show you that how many extensions I have installed. Okay, you can see I have installed this Python, Code GPT, and black box. Okay, so Python, after installing the Python, what you have to do, you have to simply select one folder as a workspace in your VS Code, and after that you can just simply create a one file. This is for new file, and this is for a new folder, and this is for refresh button. Okay, and this is for a collapse folders. Okay, so let me create a one file. Okay, so before creating one file, let's check the installer first. Okay, so you can see setup was successful. Okay, so after that you have to simply close this, and now Python is now successfully installed in our system. Okay, so suppose that you want to create any of the file, Python file. Okay, so as you must be knowing about that Python. Okay guys, so let me tell you the extension for the Python. Okay, so the extension for the Python is .py, and as for Java is .java, and for JavaScript .js, and for the TypeScript .ts. So suppose that you want to create one file. Okay, so let me write here test. Okay, so let me write here name. Okay, a test. Suppose that it is a Python file. Okay, so you have to just give the extensions. Okay, .py. Okay, so test.py, as I am already having test.py, so I will just give test2.py. Okay, so it will just generate the file, as this is an id, and this is test2.py, and this is an having extension, so .py, so it's obvious that it is an Python file. Okay, so after that what you have to do, it will automatically detect your interpreter. When you will install this Python in your system, then it will automatically detect your interpreter. Okay, so you can just simply print anything. Okay, so let me print hello world, as I am new to this programming language, so I will just print hello world. Okay, as we usually do when we learn any new programming language. Okay, so after that you have to simply save this, and after that you have to run without debugging. Okay, so it will show you the output. Okay, so just wait till it's being executed. Okay guys, you can see we got this hello world. Okay, so we have successfully got this hello world. Okay, meanwhile you can just practice these things. You can just means print some types of thing, then you will better understand this working of this thing. Okay, so you can see we got this hello world. Okay, in the console, this is basically our console. Here whatever output we will get output here only hello world. You can see we got. Okay, so now let me tell you about another method, that how can you write the Python code by another method. This is a method for working with the VS Code. Okay, you can just simply write your code here in the VS Code, and you can just simply execute that, and you will see the output here. Okay, let me close this, and you can see we got this hello world here. Okay, so this is the method while how can you just execute your Python codes in the VS Code. Okay, so now let me tell you how can you execute the Python code from the Python default IDE, which is provided by the Python only. Okay, so for that what you have to do, you have to simply click search, and you have to just simply locate Python. Okay, you have installed the Python. Okay, right. So here you will see here a Python IDLE 3.1164. Okay, so you have to just simply open this. Okay, so after opening this, you can just simply write your Python code here also. Okay, we have two options. We can use the Python IDE, or we can just simply use the VS Code for writing. Okay, whatever you like, you can use for executing your Python codes. Okay, so just wait for some time, as I am opening first time, so it's taking some time. Okay, so this is basically our Python IDE. So suppose that I want to print hello world. Okay, so I will just write here print hello world, and after that, okay, whenever I will do enter, then it will show you the output. Okay, we can see we got a print hello world. Okay, so suppose that I want to print some other thing, print hello coders. Okay, so let's print this thing, and let's give the double quotes, and let's print. Okay, so you can see we got the output. Okay, here you will get the output line by line. Okay, so you can see this is the basically the code which I have written, and this is the output. Okay, this is the output and this is the code. Okay, so suppose that you want to write full code at once, and you want to execute that. Okay, so you can just simply click on file, and you can click on the line a new file, and now you can see you can just simply write your code here, whatever code you want print. Suppose that you want to code for printing numbers, printing palindrome number, prime number, okay, octal number, so you can just use this thing. Okay, print let me print hello world only, because we are just learning Python from the scratch. Okay, so after this, after writing your code in the this ID, you what you have to do, you have to just simply save this. Okay, and while saving this, you have to just keep in mind that the extension should be, you can give any name. Suppose that I want to give sky. Okay, so I will just give sky, and after that you have to just give the extension. Okay, so sky.py, py is compulsory. If you will not give py, then how it will understand that this is an Python file. Okay, so after that you have to simply save this, and after that you have to run this. Okay, you can just use F5 as well. Okay, so run module F5, and it will show you the output. Okay, so let's await, and you can see we got this output hello world here. Okay, so this is the way by which you can write your Python code in the Python default IDE, or you can just use the VS Code. Okay, so this is basically all about the installation of this, that how can you install the Python in your system, Windows, Mac, or means how can you install the VS Code, and you can just simply write your VS Code. Means in the VS Code you can just simply write your Python code, or you can just use the Python by default, which is provided by the Python. You can use just simply this IDE as well. Okay, which is being provided by the Python. Okay, so you can write your code here in the Python IDE cell, or you can just write the Python code in the VS Code. Okay, so that's all for today's session, and from the next session we will start from the operators, keywords, identifiers, literals, and we will see keywords and all of the things. Okay, reserved words, all of the things. We are just going to start a Python from the scratch level. Okay, so that's all about the installation, and meet you soon in the next very interesting tutorial of the Python. In the chapter 3 we will see about all of the things from the basic, that what are keywords, operators, and all those things. Okay, and we will do the code as well. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Bye, take care of yourself, guys.